This is Ranzi, and I would like to talk briefly today about women's monthly menstrual cycle. When I was still getting my monthly period, going way back, I actually didn't get a monthly period. For many, many years, from the time that I was an adolescent until I became a raw foodist at age 40, I had very inconsistent menstrual cycles. Sometimes I wouldn't get my period for a year or 2 years. And so I wasn't getting rid of toxins in my body. I was holding on to it. And I was concerned. And I went to a hospital, and they took tests, and they gave me the birth control pill to try to regulate my monthly cycle. And that monthly, all the birth control pills that I was taking over time, I don't remember now, it was a long time ago, and I don't remember what the dosage I was taking, but I was taking the birth control pill for about 6 years to regulate my monthly cycle. And I was having other side effects like cramping, and eventually was even having chest pains, and it affected my eyes. It changed the shape of my cornea, and at that point I was wearing contact lenses. I couldn't even wear them anymore. I was having all kinds of issues around my eyes. And so there are side effects to taking these drugs, and they don't really address what they're supposed to address anyway. I did not get a regular period from taking a birth control pill. And that was, I guess, when I was in my 20s. And I continued to get my period very infrequently. When I did get it, I had a very heavy flow for about a week. Sometimes I had to take off from work. It was so bad. And not only did I have a heavy blood flow, but I was also in bed a lot with stomach cramping. And I had PMS, premenstrual syndrome, where I would even start to cramp before I had my period. I knew that it was coming, and it was infrequent, but when it came, it was not fun. And so when I later became vegan, I already noticed a difference in that the amount of blood that I had was much less. I didn't feel as sick. I wasn't 100% yet, for sure, because I did eat processed food as a vegan, and I wasn't eating completely healthy, water-rich food as I do now for the past 2 decades, living on the raw food lifestyle. But even becoming vegan was a difference, definitely an improvement in how I felt. When I went to raw foods 19 years ago, when I was 40 years old, I noticed that, well, first of all, my period started coming like clockwork. Every 28 days, like clockwork, I got my period. I could predict it. I also noticed that my blood flow was much lighter. It was sometimes only 3 days. I've also heard from women who tell me that they stopped having a flow even though they were still ovulating. Women have gotten pregnant with the raw food lifestyle and not had their monthly period, but they were still ovulating and they did get pregnant. So we have to be kind of careful for those people who are in a relationship and don't want to have a child yet. You have to understand when you are ovulating. But for me, I had already had my children, but I was excited that my monthly period was so light, so easy, no more cramping, no more PMS, premenstrual syndrome, that I felt great, I had energy, I could function quite normally, beyond normal, and had loads of energy at a time previously that would have been a big problem for me and have caused me a lot of pain and aggravation. And so I highly recommend coming to the raw foods lifestyle, especially for women who are having these kind of issues. It's not necessary. The fruits and the vegetables are water-rich plant foods that are very easy on the digestive system and make it very easy for us in eliminating during that time of the month. And so I can't think of a better way to live and to function. Also, my daughter, who grew up on raw foods, she got her period later than her friends who were getting their period at anywhere from age 9 to 13. She got her period at almost 16. And at that point, I think she was eating more cooked and some processed food, and she may have gotten her period even later if she had not. I know of girls who don't even get their period until between ages 17 and 19. And if you think about it, this is normal human development. We're not supposed to be eating these processed and refined foods. When we eat the foods that are natural and are nutrient dense, the fruits and the vegetables meant for our human body, then we grow at a normal pace and develop at a normal pace, and a girl does not have to deal with getting a period at age 9 when she's not ready to deal with it yet. When a young woman gets her period at an older age, in the teenage years, it's much more appropriate for growth and development. And so that's something else that I noticed in my own family.